Something just happened that could shake the entire world. A US F-35 fighter jet, one of the most advanced military aircraft on the planet, has reportedly been shot down by China over the Pacific Ocean. Let that sink in. Not a drill. Not a training accident. A direct attack. This isn't just a warning shot. This is the kind of move that triggers war rooms to light up and defense protocols to go live. If confirmed, it marks a terrifying new phase in the rising conflict between two global superpowers, America and China. Before we dive into the full story and break down what this could mean for the future of the US military and global peace, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and tap the bell icon so you never miss an update on world-shifting events like this one. The F-35 Lightning II is no ordinary aircraft. It's the pride of the US Air Force. It's stealthy, fast, deadly, and costs over $100 million per jet. It's built with the most advanced materials, powered by cutting-edge technology, and represents the very peak of American air superiority. So how could something this powerful fall out of the sky in hostile airspace? And more importantly, why would China take the risk of shooting it down? While the official US statement hasn't come out yet, the context is key. Tensions between the US and China have been spiraling out of control for months, especially over military dominance in the Pacific. China's Navy is expanding rapidly. Its Air Force is developing next-generation fighters like the J-36 and J-50, and its long-range missiles can now strike US carriers from over 1,600 kilometers away. Meanwhile, the US is struggling to keep pace, relying heavily on Boeing and Lockheed Martin to maintain superiority. What makes this situation even more dangerous is the increasingly aggressive military posturing from both sides. US reconnaissance flights have grown more frequent over the South China Sea and Taiwan Strait. Chinese fighter jets have routinely intercepted these missions, sometimes flying within meters of American aircraft. In some cases, close encounters have nearly ended in mid-air collisions incidents that could spark full-blown war if misjudged. China's military doctrine has also shifted. Under Xi Jinping, Beijing has become more assertive, with clear ambitions to push the US out of its traditional sphere of influence in the Indo-Pacific. The downing of an F-35, if verified, may be part of this larger strategy, a signal, a provocation, or simply a test of American resolve. At the same time, military experts are questioning how this could even happen. Was the F-35 shot down by surface-to-air missile systems? Did it suffer a mechanical failure while operating near advanced Chinese electronic warfare zones? Or did a cyber attack disrupt its systems? The Pentagon's silence only fuels speculation, and the global community is watching anxiously. But there's one critical weakness in America's military machine that no one's talking about enough: titanium. Titanium is the lifeblood of the F-35. In fact, 40% of the jet's body is made from it. This metal is strong, light, and resistant to corrosion, perfect for high-performance aircraft, missiles, submarines, body armor, and even medical devices. But here's the catch: America doesn't produce enough of it. Less than 5% of the titanium used in the US is domestically sourced. The rest? It comes from overseas. And the largest supplier, controlling 35% of the global titanium market, is China. Now, imagine China decides to cut off titanium exports. That's not just a supply chain problem, it's a full-blown national security crisis. Beijing has already used rare earth elements as weapons in the past, restricting exports to pressure the West. Now, it's threatening to do the same with titanium. In April 2025, China imposed strict new export restrictions, sending shockwaves through the Pentagon, Boeing, and the entire aerospace industry. Without titanium, the production of F-35s, the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, advanced submarines, and countless other systems comes to a grinding halt. Even worse, there's no easy fix. Japan, the only major US ally with real titanium processing capacity, could help. But former President Trump's aggressive tariffs on Japanese goods have soured the relationship, limiting cooperation. Australia and Canada offer minor support, but not at the scale needed. Domestic US reserves? They exist, but they can't be processed quickly. Building the infrastructure to mine and refine titanium in America would take years, and China knows it. This isn't just about metal. It's about strategy. It's about dominance. China, through its Belt and Road Initiative, has quietly secured control over mines in places like Mozambique, where 70% of the titanium is now owned by Chinese companies. The Moma mine alone sends 90% of its output straight to China. And while China built its titanium empire, the US let its only strategic plant in Nevada sit idle since 2020. In short, America is caught with its pants down. Boeing's already in trouble. Reports surfaced in 2024 that the company was forced to buy counterfeit titanium because it couldn't source enough real material. Some of that shady titanium came from Chinese suppliers with falsified documentation, raising serious safety concerns. And now, with even more restrictions in place, Boeing could see billions wiped off its balance sheet, and the US military could lose its edge. Let's not forget, the F-35 program alone is worth $1.7 trillion. And it's not just the present that's at risk. The future is too. The US Air Force is currently developing the NGAD, the Next Generation Air Dominance Program. The crown jewel of this project is the F-47, a sixth-generation stealth fighter designed to outmatch anything China can throw in the air. Trump announced a $3.5 billion contract with Boeing in March 2025, with plans to expand to $20 billion. But again, titanium is the key component in this jet. No titanium, no F-47. On the naval side, the US is also working on the F/A-XX program, a carrier-based stealth fighter to replace the aging Super Hornet fleet. This jet is supposed to defend against China's expanding missile threat in the Indo-Pacific, but progress has been slowed by budget fights and, again, titanium shortages. The Pentagon has warned that without a stable supply of titanium, both NGAD and F/A-XX could face catastrophic delays and budget overruns. The military might of the US, from fighter jets to naval power to robotic systems, suddenly depends on a resource controlled by its top rival. And here's the wildest part. China planned this. Since 2018, China has doubled its titanium output. Its top producer, the Biot Group, now supplies over 66% of the global aerospace-grade sponge titanium. They didn't stumble into this dominance. They engineered it. They saw America's weakness and filled the gap with precision. And now, they're holding all the cards. Even if the Pentagon wants to lean on reserves, they won't last long. Experts estimate America's titanium stockpiles could keep things afloat for just 12 to 18 months. That's it. After that, everything grinds to a halt. Jets grounded, ships delayed, defense systems paused. And if this latest incident is the downing of the US F-35 is linked to rising tensions over resources, then we may be staring down a new kind of warfare. Not missiles and bombs, but supply chain strangulation, economic warfare, strategic blackmail. Now imagine how this plays out in the Indo-Pacific. China has been expanding its naval presence there aggressively. US carriers are vulnerable. The current F-35C has a limited range. China's missiles can strike from far beyond that. The new jets that would counter this threat? Delayed by titanium shortages. China's timing couldn't be more precise. Back in 2022, Airbus warned that losing access to Russian titanium could cause a worse crisis than the global chip shortage. Now, with Russia and China aligned, and the US having sanctioned Moscow's titanium industry, the West is more dependent than ever on Beijing. And there is no plan B. Trump's tariffs, which were meant to punish China and protect American industries, ended up doing the opposite. They alienated allies, worsened supply chain problems, and made America more dependent on the very adversary it was trying to contain. So, where does that leave us now? A US jet possibly shot down. Titanium supplies in question. Critical aerospace programs hanging by a thread. And a rising power using economic leverage instead of missiles to gain dominance. This is the new battlefield. It's not just about who has more jets or ships. It's about who controls the resources that make those jets and ships possible. And right now, China holds the keys. If the US wants to break free, it has to act fast. Rebuild domestic processing, strengthen ties with Japan, Canada, and Australia. Invest in recycling technology. secure long-term contracts with new suppliers, and most of all, wake up to the fact that control over materials like titanium is just as important as control over oil, chips, or data. This could be the biggest wake-up call yet. And as the world waits for an official response to the F-35 incident, one thing is clear. The era of silent economic warfare is over. What comes next may decide the balance of power for decades to come. Stay tuned as this story continues to unfold. If you want to stay informed on the truth behind the headlines, no fluff, no spin, make sure you've subscribed, hit the like button, and turn on notifications. This is just the beginning.